Guys, I know the last video was a bit of a shocker, but I've got something brand new for you to look at today, and it's the brand new Aries 308. Got it up here in my home workshop, and we're going to take a look, so let's have a look. Apologies, a very messy office, but the gun wall's back. Here we are, comes in a nice hard case. So you may have seen recently that I did a video on the Rapax from Sekitor, and this very much uses the same infrastructure as the 308, which is the Aries SR25 platform. The plus side you get from this bad boy though, it comes in a case. So with the Sekitor Rapax M6 and M7, it comes in a cardboard box, which is foam lined. Great, but the last thing you want to do is go out and have to buy new hard cases, especially for something that's so long. So here they are, you get it in a case, ready to go. And of course guys, I bought the deluxe version. So let's flip this round here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So of course, in the deluxe version, we get the 308L, which is the long variant. We get a suppressor, we get a scope and a scope mount, and I think we also get 2 mags. Not only is this hard case good for taking your rifle to and from a game zone, but it's also great for storage. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And there we have it. Just kidding guys. So, the Aries 308L. Now this comes in 3 different lengths. You've got the L, of course, which is this one here. You've got the M, which is the medium, and the S, which is short. Go figure, huh? Now I was heavily anticipating the 308 launch because, in my opinion, this looks far better than the Sekitor Rapax rifle. That's not to say that the Sekitor Rapax is a bad rifle. Of course, it's not. On the review, you saw it was actually very good. But I just think the 308 from Aries looks better. So the nitty gritty, let's get it out the way. It's built on the Aries SR25 infrastructure. There's obviously been some upgrades and modernizations to that platform. It's a full metal replica. Everything is full metal, apart from the pistol grip and the stock. Anyone that's familiar with an AR-10 or an SR25 platform will feel right at home. On this one, what I can say is it's all ambidextrous. You've got a nice trigger there, ambidextrous selector, ambidextrous bolt release, ambidextrous magazine release, and QD points found on both sides. So before we take a closer look at this thing, let's have a look at what else is in the box. Of course, you guys, I bought the deluxe edition because, in my opinion, it's the best value for money on the 308 platform. At the moment in the UK, the 308L is the only one that comes in the deluxe version, but you can buy the scope, the suppressor, and the mag separately. So on the rifle, going front to back, you get a nice steel flash hider. This one has a quick detach system to work with the suppressor, which comes in the box. Got an M-lock handguard here, plenty of rail space. Of course, being the long version, you're gonna have more M-lock compared to the medium and the short versions. Iron sights that flip up and down, made of metal as well. You can pull the charging handle back, which reveals the hop-up unit, which is more of a standard M4 style hop-up unit compared to the latest releases from Aries like the X-Class. Yes, that X-Class used a hop unit which was very similar to one found in the M45, but the way they put the X-Class together meant that if you was changing the inner barrel on the hop, you had to take the whole front end apart. Pop that bad boy back, you can access your hop, do the adjustments that you need to do, and then you can hit the bolt release found on either side for a nice clickety-clack. Of course, this gun takes AR-10 SR25 style magazines. All previous Aries SR25 magazines, Sekitor Rapax magazines, all that good stuff will fit. These are Aries' new 308 mags. These also come with a Sekitor Rapax, but with a deluxe version, you get 2 in the box. Most importantly about the deluxe version, which is why I got it, obviously barring the suppressor, was the scope that it comes with. Now this is a Vortex replica, which you'll see many similarities here, with a Geisy style mount here. And this scope is actually very good. You can buy these separately, but with a deluxe version, it comes in the box. You also get this little bar attachment here you can shove on there, making the adjustments a lot easier. Again, it has its own place in the box. Moving on to the suppressor, very cool indeed. You know, bits and pieces, markings there, whether that makes any difference to you or not. The best thing about this thing is the quick detach system. I'm going to try and do this one-handed here, guys, but basically you take the suppressor, you slot it on, as you rotate it, you'll find it stops. You pull and twist, and eventually it'll lock into place, and that's the suppressor on. Probably one of the best quick detach attachments from an airsoft manufacturer that I've seen. Obviously, there's aftermarket suppressors that you can get on the airsoft market, but in terms of something that comes in the box from an airsoft manufacturer, this is probably one of the best I've seen. You do also get scope covers, which I took off because they're a bit finicky. Probably put them in the bin because they were a bit crap. And then you get some scope adjustment mounts here, so you can use a smaller scope with the Geisy mount. Moving on to the back of the stock here, you've got this fully adjustable stock. It goes forwards, it goes backwards, it goes up and down. It has a big nice cheek piece here which is adjustable, but what I found, anything but the lowest position is pretty much unusable with that scope. You can pull both these tabs down here all the way down, and you can slide this off, and then you've got a little rotation cap on the back of the stock. This is the same stock system that you find on the Ares Mutant. Let's have a quick look at the markings. We've got rifle 7.62mm, AA308, Ares Precision Limited, FJHK, and that's the UK distributor's little serial number that they put on the rifle. On the other side, we've got Ares Precision Limited, Safe Fire, and we do actually have an auto setting here, but this one from the factory is set to semi only. We've got Ares Amoeba 308 Cal Multi there. These markings I feel are not actually bad at all, and it also keeps them out of hot water with the manufacturers. One thing I think was a huge letdown on the 308 was they gave you a standard pistol grip and motor. With the X-Class you've got the slim pistol grip, slim motor, and on the 308 I was hoping it'd be the same, but unfortunately not. Scope and suppressor attached. Look at that bad boy. It's quite big, this one being the long. Pop that down there so you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully this doesn't fall over. Just hold it there. And it looks the part. We've got semi-auto, 440 I think FPS out the box. We'll check it on the chrono anyway, but that's what they're stating. So it's DMR ready straight out the box. Everything you need, MOSFET, suppressor, scope, hard case, 2 mags, and that's pretty much everything you need. What else would you need? Well, you need more mags. And of course, you get box sets of 5 of these pre-packaged from Ares, so I picked one of these up as well because of course we're going to be getting through some ammo compared to a bolt action sniper. So box of 5 there, pick one of those up as well, which gives me 7 magazines, plenty to get started, and we have a DMR set up, ready to go. All I need is a battery, which I've got already. It's pre-Deans from the factory, and we're good to go. So after that quick overview, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Obviously a bit more of a different format to what I usually do, but I'm hoping this is more in style of the bringing it home because, you know, I'm at home for a start. But just so far, with a quick look over at the rifle, pop down in the comments what you think below before we get to the other bits, and we'll get this thing chronoed and see what it's doing. Get a close up on the camera so you can see the fine details, and we'll be back in just a moment. Today we've got a little bit of a sponsorship on the channel, and today's sponsor is me, Jaeger Precision. If you don't know, I already run a different website called Jaeger Precision, have done for many years now. Head over there, I do all kinds of weird stuff. Custom builds, laser engraving, Cerakote services. I also do my own tools now, which is going to be sort of expanding upon. So head over to jaegerprecision.co.uk now. Loads of cool bits and pieces on there. I tend to do a lot of weird, wacky parts that I make myself, and you can't get them anywhere. But today's episode, what I want to tell you guys more about is the new piston and spring guide for the S&T Lee Enfield. Yes, I made a S&T Lee Enfield upgrade part, which is starting with the spring guide and the piston, and I'm just going to grab this for you now. Here is a standard spring guide, cast. Ugh, looks terrible, doesn't it? Let's put that down. There's been quite a few reports of people breaking those. Here's a nice billet aluminium one, which is CNC machined and is much stronger, and look at that go fast part. So that's the spring guide. The piston, you get like a, ooh, what's going on there? You got a nice little aluminium piston with the S&T Lee Enfield. Now this is great, but it hasn't got much weight behind it, and of course, even though I haven't had any issues with it, aluminium doesn't tend to be the best, most durable part in terms of the rear sections of the pistons. So that's where the Jaeger Precision 303 stainless steel piston derives from. So you can get these as a set. You get the piston and the spring guide. The piston is a lot heavier. It's going to help you guys if you're getting a bit of dual loss with heavy ammo. Of course, pop an upgraded spring, my spring guide and my piston in there, and we've been getting some really good results at the S&T Lee Enfield. So these are on in stock right now on jaegerprecision.co.uk. If you've got an S&T Lee Enfield, you need these, you can grab them right now in a set. Head over to the link in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one. Started to get a bit dark, so I grabbed some lights out just so you can take a better look at this thing. Ooh, dear my goodness. Here it is next to the X-Class. You'll see it's a little bit different now. I've got Raiden Arms markings on it and a Summer Gear pet box, but we ain't talking about that today. Let's do a few comparisons. The main thing that you would see having these two together, picking them both up, is this probably feels like it weighs like twice as heavy as this does, but that's the X-Class mag and the 308 mag, and as you'll see, they're very similar. 762 or 308, 556. There we go, guys. Got the tripod out. No more shaky cam. Here you can see the two rifles together. So as you'll know, I love my X-Class, had loads of great features, the great EFCS gearbox system that's from Aries. All the naysayers out there that say, oh, Aries is crap, probably haven't owned or kept an Aries rifle for that long at all. They honestly, guys, they don't know what they're talking about. In my opinion, I've been around these guns for a very long time. I've owned a lot of these guns in that time. I've been in the industry, and what I can say is everything that yes, they do have a few bad eggs, so do every manufacturer, but these rifles are absolutely superb. I wouldn't have bought one if I didn't think so. Aries X-Class, EFCS same gearbox, got that M45 hop unit, which again works really well, but when I wanted to put in a barrel and a hot rubber in there to upgrade it, I had to get the whole front end apart because the little grub screw that sits here, there's no access to get to it. What I might do in future, drill a hole where that access is, and then what I can do, I can take the upper off and do any maintenance that I won't want to do. The gun is standard pretty much. It's just got one of my fancy barrels in it. If you want one of these fancy barrels, they're not cheap, but I do make them. I hand lap them. Again, jaegerprecision.co.uk. Get in touch if you want to know more information. They're the best barrels out there by far, but they do have the heavy price tag. That's just due to how many times they're lapped. But again, let's not get sidetracked. EFCS gearbox, I put a nice barrel in it, but apart from that, it's standard. It worked very well out the box, which is why I bought one. Nice polymer style magazines here, very PMAG-ish, great, but you just can't get them anywhere in the UK at the moment in this colour. Because I couldn't get the mags, I ended up using these genuine PMags, which PTS did years ago. Yes, these are genuine ones, they're very hard to come by now in the 120 format. As you can see, they've been filed a bit there from when I had a 416 back in the day. These work really well. I've also been using the Battle Axe, these are like 200 round mid caps. If I'm going to an event that's a bit more shooty and I need a bit more ammo, I don't carry high caps, I only carry mid caps or low caps if I'm using the gas stuff. These mags have actually worked superbly well. So far, every type of magazine I've put in this gun has worked. Now this can't be said with the 308 because it's very specific. It uses the Aries SR25 magazines. But also what I loved about the X-Class, like the M45 series, they have the slim pistol grip motor, which is a little bit more vertical, which is very good. Keeps it a bit more realistic, and it's super torquey and snappy, and that's why I bought one. I put a suppressor on the front, pet box, and summer gear, very nice. I'll review that soon. Just a cheap Trigicon MRO, and away we went. Nothing else has been touched. It's on the same Dean's connector as it came from the factory. Put 11.1s in it straight out of the box, and that's how I use it. But let's get this thing out of the way, because we're not talking about this today. Today we're talking about the 308, and I'm just going to take these bits off here so we can look at them individually. Right. This being a Vortex copy, bit naughty, hasn't got any markings on, but you can clearly see what it's meant to be. Now, it's got illumination on this, so I'll turn this down to 1 time so you'll be able to see. It's going to be very difficult to do on camera, guys, but you can see through the scope there. Just going to turn a little dot on, which if we cover that up, you should be able to see there. So it's very, it's not bright, it's not like in your face bright. It does have loads of settings on there, and what you do is you pull this dial out, set your intensity, and then push this back in, and it covers it up and it stops it from moving. The adjustment knobs, basically take these caps off. Toolless design, big dial here, very easy to adjust, and from the testing that I've done so far, this actually works really well. Geyser style mount here, obviously no markings on that, I don't want to get in trouble, but I've had a few of these mounts, they're very good, obviously the cheap Chinese ones, and you get a little kill flash in here, which is included in the box. What I did notice with this, with it fitted, which actually a friend of mine pointed out, with this fitted onto the scope, it just dulls the light down a little bit. Taking that off, the scope's much brighter and much clearer. So thank you for that. You've got a little spirit level in the back here. If you're out in a dark environment, this is very difficult to see, but to be honest, if you're in a workshop or a garden or something like that and you're setting it up, nice bright day, you can set this up, make sure it's nice and level, and away you go. You won't have to touch it again. Windage, same style cap here, take it off. Very good indeed. Probably one of the best airsoft scopes I've looked at in a while here. And I'm actually really surprised how good this actually is. The reason this scope is actually as good as it is for the price that you get it at, I'm actually considering getting another one and popping it on one of my bolt actions. The suppressor here doesn't have any foam in, it's got a nice quick detach system, and the reason I'm not going to take it apart on camera to show you is because there's a huge spring here. I took it apart, took the front cap off to see what's going on, and if I could get some foam in there, because obviously with the suppressor you want to try and get a bit of noise dampening, I don't want to say suppression, but you know, dulling that crack of the air, leaving the barrel there. I'm not going to do it because it was an absolute pain in the backside to get back on, but it's a quick detach system. You line it up with the flash hider, you push it on, twist, and it locks into place. And this is probably the best suppressor that Aries have done to date. On the suppressor there, markings, USMC part number, blah blah blah, 308, 300 blackout, serial number, blah blah blah, AXA, suppressor. Front towards enemy. That's what we're talking about. Now, in my opinion, I got the Deluxe version because more I wanted the scope and the extra mag, but the suppressor was, you know, an extra little bit of icing on the cake there. But to be honest with you, when I run this, I'm probably going to use the suppressor because it just makes the rifle really, really long. In hindsight, if the gun did come in the medium length as a Deluxe version, that's probably the one I would have gone for. We've got the stock here, flip it over, got to push this little tab down, pull the lever out, and with that out, we can adjust the height of the cheek piece. Actually clicks up really nicely, but with that scope on, I found anything but the bottom one is pretty much useless. Pull the tab, and you can adjust the stock. There's only a couple of positions on there. You pull it all the way down and pull it off. You'll reveal the little battery cap, much like on a Aries Mutant. Take this off, it's pre-deansed, and the battery that I've actually been using is none other than the same Bigfoot 1300 milliamp 11.1 LiPo 20C. This battery I've always recommended for the M45. I use it in the X class. I pretty much use it in all the Aries guns I own, and I'm going to hope I can do this as well on camera as I did the other day. But this battery will actually fit perfectly in the 308. Just try and do it here. Bit of finger gymnastics. Never hurt anybody. Cables go in. This is real time, not sped this up. Put the little cap on there. And you're good to go. Pull the tabs down. Stock comes forward. And we're good to go. So, safe. Obviously, it's not going to fire. The trigger's blocked. Semi. Apologies if this is loud. Very audible click on the mic switch there. More rate of fire than you need for a DMR. Put it to auto. It's also semi-auto as well, so we're locked for DMR limits. The bolt catch here, let's actuate that just to show you. And you can see the hop-up adjustment is just in there. Rotary style hop-up, not good, not bad, just average. But with it being a normal M4 style hop unit, you could put something upgrade in there if you wanted to. And you've got the two releases on each side. A nice clack as that goes forward, unlike the Calibres, which are the most depressing bolt release ever heard on camera or in real life ever before. Pop the mag in, very cool indeed. Nice markings on there. They also have the dot matrix there if you want to mark your magazines. Put your stamp of approval on there, your initials, your call sign, whatever you want to do. Make sure people aren't nicking your mags on the field. Unfortunately, with a lot of Aries magazines now, they're a little bit harder to maintain. You can take the base plates off and pull the inner workings out, but that's as far as it goes because the cases are actually glued together. The best thing about this is these are cheap compared to other magazines, obviously. You can use the Aries SR25 standard sort of steel type mags, high caps, mid caps. You can use the Rapax mags, the big ones, the small ones, the mid cap, metal mid caps. And these, the new ones. Now, why you want to use anything other than this, I don't know. I have seen in the Aries pictures that they are doing sort of shorter and mini mags. We'll see if those come to fruition later date. And that is a sum up of the Aries 308. The EFCS in there is pretty much standard, and you'll find it in a lot of the guns. You've got a quick spring change at the back, so if you do want to get the Aries programmer, whop the spring out, put a low powered spring in, set it back to full auto, and you can have a good day if you go into a field that doesn't allow DMR limits. Anyway, let's crack the chrono out and see what this bad boy fires at. For the chrono result today, first off, I'm going to be using 0.2 gram BBs. I'm using this X-Core Mark III chrono. I'm going to be doing it off camera. I'm not going to do any splice or edits, just so you know that it's true, but with the space that I've got here, it doesn't really make any sense shooting towards the wall here, so I've got a little box down here to catch the BBs, got my specs on. Oh, it took out the light as well. Let's give this a shot. And that is 396.5. 392.1. Let's give it one more. 398.3. So we're bang on the 400 mark there. Let's just see where the hop is set. The hop is pretty much off, so we're right in the lower limits of DMR territory there. A lot of sites run different power limits. Let's just clear the bore here. So I'll take my glasses off. There we go. So right in the sort of territory for DMR limits there. A lot of sites will run 400 or 450, but if the site you're going to runs a slightly lower limit of 400, you're absolutely sound. You could upgrade this pretty much very easily. Pulling the quick spring change out, it's very quick, very easy to do. Take the top tube off, whack a different spring in there, get the power limits to where you want it. Very easy to do with the EFCS Aries gearbox system. 398.3 there, respectable FPS straight off the bat. These videos are going to be done a little bit differently compared to normal. You probably see a little bit of a faster pace because I've had time to sort of get to grips with this a little bit. Pulled it out of the box, just had a quick check over, so I know what key points I want to talk about. If you've got any questions on the 308, pop them down in the comments below. Of course, I will answer them to the best of my ability. There won't be a range test on this thing just because of the situation at home. I have nowhere near the amount of range that this thing's going to push out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get to a game, whack a scope cam on there, and we can see what it does in the field, you know, which is probably what you guys want to see. You want to see it in an environment that's going to be used in. I've been very clear and transparent with my range tests, as you'll know, watching the channel for a long time. This is going to perform pretty much on par, if not slightly better than the Rapax out the box. So, you know, you'll see 40 meters, which we had at the shop anyway. This thing would have domed with a 0.4 regardless. What we want to do, get on a field, strap a scope cam to it and see what the actual limits are. Perhaps take a rangefinder just to give you a bit of an on-the-field report of this thing, which I think is going to be better. So this is going to be the part 1 review where we look at it a little bit close up, a bit of information about the gun. What does it chrono at, especially with a UK spec rifle. Let's pop the scope back on here so you can see it. And whoop, nice quick detach scope mount here, he says, as he struggles going on. There we go. It's me being an idiot. So this is a superb looking rifle, much better than the Rapax in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. You know, they're based on the same platform. They pretty much perform exactly the same. I just think Aries have got the upper hand being the OEM. They can create it to much more of a closer specification as a real one. The Rapaxes, in my opinion, they're great rifles, don't get me wrong. They just look a little bit wacky in terms of their styling and the way Aries do stuff. I just tend to prefer it. It is a bit of a kick in the teeth that they haven't supplied that grip and motor, what they did with the X-Class. I would like to have seen that. Perhaps I have to pick up an extra one and pop it on there. This thing is an absolute beast. It's a struggle. I've got an injured wrist at the moment. Keep your jokes to yourself. So it's a bit of a struggle to hold this with one hand at the moment. You can do it, but carrying this around for a weekend, you will certainly know about it. See what we can do about this suppressor. Perhaps we can shorten the barrel slightly and get this sort of integrally suppressed maybe a little bit so it sits in the rail. We'll see if there's space to do that, perhaps in a future video. Thank you for tuning in to the first review. Now the channel's changed to Jaeger Precision. Hope you like the Aries 308. If you haven't already, be sure to go down and check out the Jaeger Precision website. A lot of things are out of stock at the moment just because when I make batches of stuff, they do go out. The Aries, no, not the Aries, the S&T Lee Enfield pistons and spring guides are on there right now. You can grab them if you've got an S&T Lee Enfield. Those are in stock, ready to go. There's a new set, have I got them here? You can also pick yourself up a set of the Jaeger Precision Mecha Allen key drivers in this luminous green and gold style here. A lot more information on the website there. This is before they're going on there because I've got to etch the trademarks on there and the sizes. But you get 1.5, a 2, a 2.5 and a 3. Those are on the website right now as sets. You can get them. But let's wrap this thing up. Hope you've enjoyed the Aries 308. This is a quick look. Of course, we'll get an in-depth report from when we get this out in the field, and perhaps we'll do some bits and pieces. I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see. I think it's just going to be better seeing it in a game rather than a pre-recorded thing down an alleyway where you're not really going to see that much, especially when you're shooting a target that's smaller than a person. It's sometimes a little bit misleading, but it does mean that the guns usually shoot better than what they look on camera. So thank you for tuning into this video. We'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of the new format. a little bit faster paced. I know I talk quick anyway. If you want me to slow it down a bit, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.